Okay, hello folks, hello anyone who might be watching, anyone who might be watching the stream later on in recording. Today, we're going to be starting a playthrough for Master of Orion, and I'm going to be trying to go through and explore some of the gameplay with the most unique of the 10 different races in Master of Orion, that being the Silicoids, which are basically alien rocks. They're basically rocks. For the League of Legends comparison, think of something like Malphite, like living, breathing rocks, and they have some very unusual properties compared to the other races. Now keep in mind, this is the original Master of Orion. This game came out in 1993, as you can see down at the bottom of the screen, so this is an old game. I strongly believe it's one of the best strategy games ever made, at least empire building, turn-based strategy games. It's on the very, very short list. So let's go ahead and get started. I will explain some of the mechanics of how to play this game. I'm going to be assuming that people watching are not terribly familiar with Master of Orion, so we'll go ahead and queue up a game. In Master of Orion, there are 4 different galaxy sizes you can pick. Those are small, medium, large, and huge. Those are 24 stars, 48 stars, 72 stars, and 96 stars. I generally do not like to play on the largest size settings for the galaxies because they increase the amount of micromanagement and you end up doing a lot of tedious micro work. Smaller galaxies tend to be harder. Small tends to be the hardest. Huge tends to be the easiest in my opinion. I don't think I've ever actually played a game on huge because it just takes forever. We'll just take the intermediate route and grab medium. There are 5 difficulty levels in Master of Orion: simple, easy, average, hard, and impossible. I've never played on simple or easy. Well, I think I took over inherited a save game from someone on easy once, but I've played a couple games on average, more on hard, but nearly all on impossible. Impossible makes for a very interesting difficulty. The only real challenge for an expert player. It's very difficult to lose on the lower difficulties once you know what you're doing. Impossible is pretty tough though. I'd say I win about 2/3 to 3/4 of the time on impossible, so there's a decent chance I'll lose this game, although the Silicoids are one of the game's better races once you know what you're doing. And you can set anywhere from 1 to 5 opponents. We'll go with 5 is actually the default there. We'll go with 5 opponents. Alright, so then you get to pick your race. We're going to be playing as the Silicoids. You can see they are immune to hostile planet environments. The other ones are humans. Humans are one of the game's better races. They get very good diplomacy, which is a big plus in Master of Orion. The Merchants, the Kitties, they're the weakest race in the game. They're terrible at diplomacy, and their bonuses, a bonus to combat, direct bonuses to combat, are pretty weak in Master of Orion. The Sakra get good population growth. They're fairly average. They're in the middle. Cylons are the strongest in the game. They get huge bonuses to research. That makes them the best because technology is super important in Master of Orion. The Alkari are about average, maybe slightly below average. They have bad diplomacy, although not as bad as some of the other races, and they get a combat bonus, but a defensive combat bonus. Klakons are one of the game's strongest races. The Klakons and the Cylons are the game's 2 best races. They get bonus production. That's really good. They get off to a super fast growth curve. They are very fast starters. The Bulrathi are one of the game's weaker races. They get a bonus to ground combat, but they're pretty bad at everything else, and particularly they're terrible at computer tech, which is a major weakness. The Meklar are kind of interesting. They are cyborgs. They are able to build up their planets beyond what other races can do. However, they have to, they're very slow starting. They max out better than most of the other races, but they get off to a slow start, and that's generally not good. And the Darloks, I always have trouble playing the Darloks. They are very good at spying, but they have the game's worst diplomacy. Everybody hates the Darloks, and that can cause a lot of problems. So we're going to be playing the Silicoids, as it says, immune to hostile planet environments. They are able to ignore planets that you normally can't colonize early in the game. They also are able to ignore pollution. They totally ignore pollution. They don't have to spend anything on waste cleanup. And they have one of the game's more unique tech trees as a result. They get different tech choices than other races. Trade-offs are they have very slow growth. They are the opposite of the Sakra. Their growth is incredibly slow, and that means you have to play them very differently from other races. So we'll go ahead, and I tend to play the Silicoids with a blue flag, just personal preference. You can choose any one of 6 colors, but I usually play them as blue. We can rename ourselves if we want, but I'll just go with the default, and you can rename your home planet, but the default is Chryslon, and I'll keep it as that. Alright, so it's going to generate a map here for us. Any second now. There we go. Alright. Master of Orion doesn't have a lot of music, by the way. You'll note that there's no sound. It's pretty quiet. Alright, so here's the map. Who are we up against? We do not have the Cylons in this galaxy, so that's a big plus. Humans, Darloks, Klakons, Bolrathi, and Mershan. That's pretty good on the draw, in all honesty. We did not get Cylons as an opponent. The humans will probably be... Well, it depends. Depends on where they start. There's a lot of yellow stars in this galaxy as well. Enemy races can only start at yellow stars. So there are quite a few yellow stars out here. Will be interesting to see where they spawn. Hopefully there's not a race right here or right here, but there's definitely an enemy race at one of these two yellow stars. I should have a pretty good corner down here. If there's no enemy race here, that would also be helpful. But it looks like I've got a pretty good corner to hang out in down here. Okay, so some basics about Master of Orion for those who have never seen the game, which is probably quite a few of you out there. So this is a space-based combat game, space-based empire building game. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Precursor. I hope that's close enough, but it's good to have you here. This is a space-based empire building game. You can, of course, only set up colonies at stars. At the beginning of the game, you don't know what's any of these stars. See, they're just blank. We have no idea what's here. In this game, more is always better in terms of planets. You want as many planets as possible. There's only 48 total planets, 48 total stars on a normal-sized map. So the more you get, the better. It's not like there's no maintenance cost, there's no corruption in civilization terms. You just want as many planets as possible. Of course, the other races also want to get as many planets as possible because there's only a default amount. The way that you win the game is by having enough votes in the Galactic Council to either vote yourself, the Galactic Emperor, which you need 2/3 of the total votes to do that, or get enough allies to vote you in. So you want to get as much population as possible. One of the interesting things is, if you have 1/3 of the galaxy's population, you can't lose. It is literally impossible for you to lose the game because you can always block a council vote, even if everyone votes against you. However, the trade-off is, if any other race has 1/3 of the council votes, you also can't win either because they will also block a victory in the council. So anyway, the game is based on getting as many planets as possible and getting as many people as possible. And of course, you've got these ships to, fight over control of planets and things like that. I'll talk more about the economic side of the game as we go on. Anyway, from the map, we're in the southeast corner. The enemies are going to be coming in probably from the north, possibly from the west. So what I want to do is I want to send my initial... First, I got to see how many planets are in 3 parsec range. Okay, there's only 1 planet in 3 parsec range, so hopefully there's a habitable planet there. At the start of the game, you can only send your ships to planets within 3 parsecs. So this is the only planet within 3 parsecs. You start the game with a colony ship. We're going to head there, and hopefully I can colonize that planet. If not, this is a really rough start, but it's probably a habitable planet because it's a yellow star, and they tend to have the best planets. Now, these are scouts. Scouts start with a unique property on them. They start with... Where's the scouts? They start with something called reserve fuel tanks, which means they can go 3 parsecs further than the default. So the default is 3. That means they can go up to 6 parsecs. So the question is, where do I want to send them? All right, that's out of range. So what you generally want to do is use your scouts to block planets that you think the AI might try to target. Okay, so that's out of range. This blue star here, though, it looks like it could be pretty important. That's out of range too, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to head for these 2 planets right here. The red and the blue star. And that's because it's likely that there's an AI, there could be an AI up here, in which case I want to block off those planets. Anyway, so let's send the scouts up here. Also, if I can colonize this planet, I'll get some extra range from colonizing that. So we'll see. As far as what you're doing here, you can click on this to see your planet. Kind of a neat little graphical feature, doesn't really do that much. So a couple things here. Planet's max size is 100. You can increase that with more technology, but for now it's at 100. That's right. Good point. I'm Silicoids, so the chance of a habitable planet are quite high. That's a good point. Yeah, the Silicoids can colonize any planet at the start of the game. That's one of their unique racial advantages. I should have remembered that. This planet has max size 100. We'll be able to increase that with terraforming later. As of at the beginning of the game, you always start with 40 population on your home planet. You start with 50 on the lower difficulties, but on impossible and hard, it's always 40. You also start with 30 factories. Now, population and factories produce production. The way that the formula works here is you get a half point of production for each population, 1/2 BC, the game's currency, and 1 for each factory. So 30 plus half of 40 is 50. And if you look right here, you can see, yes, we get 51 production. Now, that only turns into 38 effectively because we are paying maintenance costs on those ships. Where is that? That's on the planets tab. Yeah, we're actually losing 23% of our income on those ships. So the ships are quite expensive. Hi Uteros, hi Mithridori. But anyway, we're getting 50 production from this stuff. Anyway, at the beginning of the game, you want more factories. Each population can work 2 factories at a time. So our 40 pop could work up to 80 factories right now. And what that means is we want more factories because we've got a lot of people who are not working in factories and they're kind of wasting their potential production. So we want to get more factories ASAP. So I'm going to spend on industry, which will build 3.8 factories per year. So next year, we should have, 33.8 factories. And yes, the game does track to 1 decimal point, for anyone who's curious. So I'm going to spend on industry here. Of course, you can build other stuff. You can build ships. So I could produce 3 scouts if I wanted to. You can build missile bases, which are very strong defensive installments. I'll do that later. Early in the game, you don't want defensive bases, but they're quite strong. Ecology. Now, normally most races would have to spend on waste cleanup. Most races have to spend a lot of their income on waste cleanup, but the big advantage of the Silicoids is they do not have to spend any money on waste cleanup. They can spend 100% of their income right at the start of the game. So that's a huge advantage for the Silicoids to help offset their crippling growth penalties. Or you can spend it on research. This is how you do research. You just spend your production right here on research, and that's how research is carried out. So your production and your research are literally the same thing in Master of Orion. It's not like Civilization where you have beakers and shields or hammers. They're exactly the same thing. You can also spend on ecology to grow more population. Now, that's not very efficient to do that, but you can do it, and there are some times where you'll want to do that. With the Silicoids in particular, you definitely have to spend on ecology because they are so ungodly slow at growing population. So we'll see some examples of that in the game goes on as well. But ecology is used for terraforming, waste cleanup, and growing population. But at the beginning of the game, as I said, we want to put some production into factories for the first couple turns. Generally, I will build factories for the first 3 turns, and then after the colony ship creates a colony, I'll build some more scouts. So, next turn, our ships are moving out. By the way, once you've sent your ships, you can't issue orders again. They can only receive new orders at a planet. There is a high-level tech that allows you to change that, but keep that in mind. Once you send out ships, you can't change their orders. All right, so we built, on the last turn, we had 1 population grow, so pop's now 41, and we built 3.8 factories. So now the production is 33 plus 20, so it should be 54, and it is 54. So got a little bit more production. Now we can build 4 factories instead of 3.8 or 4.1. So, all right, next turn, 1 more next turn, and now the colony ship arrives. Ooh, this is a very good planet. We've got a 115 max. This is actually better than our home world. Because it's a larger size. Bigger size is always better. Bigger size is always better in Master of Orion. Hi, Buff. Looks like you are in time. Just started. So you always want as many planets as possible and as large a size as possible. This is an excellent, excellent planet. There's a little graphic when you colonize a planet. I won't show this for the future ones, but in 1993, this was good graphics. Looks our little astronaut there, or cosmonaut. And he plants the blue flag here. So this is your only chance to rename a colony. You can rename them right when you colonize them, but I'll just go with the default. I've played this game a lot. Alrighty, so what landing that colony ship did was it frees up our ship costs. That colony ship was actually hugely expensive. It was eating up 23% of our income, so that's a really big deal. Now I can build 6.5 factories instead of 4.1 or whatever it was. So that's a big deal to get rid of that colony ship. Now, normally what you want to do is send some population to this world. That's because it's just getting started. It's helpful to have colonies get started with a little bit of population. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, you have to be careful with the Silicoids because they have such low population growth. I grew 2 pop that turn. Other races would likely be growing 3 or 4 pop per turn. I'm only growing 1 or 2 because I'm the Silicoids and they have such low population growth. If I were the Sakura, I'd be growing about 7 pop per turn, because the lizards breed like crazy. Anyway, yes, so I do want to send some pop. With the Silicoid, it's always a question of how much. The way that population growth works in this game is it works on a bell curve, basically. When you are in between 1/3 and 2/3 pop, that's where the pop grows the fastest. So for Chrysalon, that's between about 30, roughly between 30 and 70 pop. This planet will grow the fastest. So I'll go ahead and send some pop over here. What I want to do is try to get Zudak going. I want to get it a little bit of population. If I could get this up to about 20 pop, it would start to grow a lot faster. It takes an egregiously long time for a silicoid colony to get going if it doesn't get any pop. So let's see. I will try to keep Chrysalon around 40 pop, roughly speaking. Yeah, probably no lower than that. So let's go ahead and send 3 million this turn. I often send them in groups of 3. So that'll get it a little bit. I'll send a little bit more for a couple turns. Now, the other thing I need to do is I need to send out more scouts. So what I need to do is go in and build some scouts. The game actually, here's a little bug about Master of Orion. The default ships it gives you, first of all, are pretty terrible. So we don't want to build this fighter, this destroyer, or this bomber. They're actually really terrible ship designs. You don't want to have them. For whatever reason, in this game, the default starting ships are not efficient. It has something to do with the way the tech levels are coded. So watch. If I build another scout that's exactly like the scout ship, call it Scout 2, exact same thing, just reserve fuel tanks, and I go ahead and build this, watch. I show the fleet panel. The scouts that I started with cost 10 BC, but the exact same ship design costs 8 BC. We don't really know why that is. It has something to do, as I said, with the way the tech levels in this game are calculated, but if you just redesign the exact same ship, you can build scouts at 20% less, or no, yeah, 20% less cost. So I'm going to do that. And what I'm also going to do is cancel. I'm going to scrap the colony ship and rebuild the exact same colony ship, which will take the cost from 591 down to 570. Again, I don't know why that is, but it's just a little quirk about this game. It's an old game. So similar thing, colony ship, standard colony base. I'll talk more about ship design later. Build, and it's the same thing. So exact same colony ship, but it costs 590 instead of 591. So just a little thing. Anyway, so let's build some Scout 2s. I can build 7 of them immediately on Chrysalon. Let's see how many I'm going to need. I want one for every planet that's within 6 parsecs. So let's see. This is out of range. I've already got ships going to these 2, so that's 2. How many more am I going to need? This ship is probably at... Oh, no, I can reach that. Okay, that's only 6 parsecs as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need 8 of these ships, and yeah, 8. That one's just out of range. All right, so I need 8. I'll build 7, and I'll build a couple more. I also probably want a ship over Chrysalon and Zudak. The AI is much more reluctant to go after your planets if there's a ship over them. Even if it's an unarmed scout, they're still more reluctant to go after your planets. All right, so next turn, I ended up building 8 Scout 2s. That's because Chrysalon grew between turns and ended up getting a little bonus production. All right, so let's send out these ships, shall we? This is where some of the micromanagement of the game comes in. So I'm going to send... Well, actually, I can save a turn. I can send this one here and then send this ship up to that star. I just have to remember to do that. All right, so 1, 2... By the way, these ships all move quite slowly because they're moving at warp 1. You can get more engine speed later on. 3... Sending 1 to each planet. 4... 5, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. And as I said, I need some for Chrysalon and Zudak, but I'll leave it alone for right now. They'll be okay for the time being. All right, I only grew 1 pop that turn, so I'm not going to send any colonists from Chrysalon just yet. All right, next turn. We found, oh my god, we found an ultra-rich population 80. That is a really good planet. Holy cow. Wow. Ultra rich size 80. It's barren, which that's the lowest of the hostile terrain types. I guess I should talk about, and we found an arid 55. That's an average planet, somewhere in the middle. I guess I should talk about that. So in terms of environments, the environments over here on the left, what is it, 8 of them? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, 7. Terran through minimal, anyone can colonize from the start of the game. They're always habitable. The ones on the right, you normally have to research more text to get. The Barren, Tundra, Dead, Inferno, Toxic, Radiated. Normally, you can't colonize these at the start of the game. It's one of the things that makes Master of Orion such an interesting game. Some of the planets are out of bounds at the start of the game. But for the Silicoids, that's not true. The Silicoids can colonize any planet at the start of the game. Barren is the least hostile of the hostile terrain types, so the AI will likely research controlled Barren tech pretty early. So we need to get a move on that planet. Normally, I would go for the arid planet first because it is not hostile, more likely to be colonized by the AI. But a barren size 70 is, or an ultra rich size 70 or size 80, I think it is. Ultra rich size 80. You can't ignore this. That's too good of a planet. That's an absolutely beautiful planet. Really, really good. So objective number 1 in this game already is controlling this planet. Plus, it's only 3 parsecs away, so I don't even need to research range to get this planet. That's a very big deal indeed. Plus, colonizing this will give me more range, and then I'll be able to reach some of these planets up here. So that is good stuff. All right, Crystalline grew 2 population that turn. It is, at 44, so I'm going to send a couple more pop over to Zudak, which, by the way, note that Zudak has not grown at all. Has not grown 1 bit so far, has not grown even 1 pop yet, so I'm going to need to send some off. How many factories do I have? Okay, I have 49, so once I get up to about 80 factories, I'll be at the point where I don't really need to build too many more. Hi Elite Doofus, hi Racin, good to have you guys here. We're just getting started, so I'm going to send some. In a way, it's almost bad that I have a planet that's this big here, because I'm going to have to send more pop from Crystalline to deal with it, but it's not a bad problem to have. Alright, next turn. Okay, so remember I sent this scout out on the very first turn of the game. We've already ran into the humans. That means the humans either started here, hopefully they did not start here, but it's possible, or they started at one of these stars over here. So the humans are pretty close here. Okay, oh wow, so this is a human colony ship. That means the humans are close. They're very close. It's going to be tough to keep them off this planet. Now remember, I sent my scout on the very first turn to this planet. It just got there last turn. So hopefully we can keep the humans from getting this world for a little while. Now they'll retreat their colony ship, because they will always retreat if you have an unarmed... if it's unarmed against unarmed, the AI retreats. So watch. This scout has no weapons, but they retreat their colony ship anyway. That's still not good news, though. That means that this is the human... This is almost certainly where the humans started. And that's not good. Fortunately, Proteus is only 3 parsecs away, so I can build warships to go up there and chase them off, but it's awful tough to fight the AI this early in the game. Yeah, let's see, where is it? Yeah, well, that ship that's on its way, that scout has not reached Proteus yet. Okay, so the humans are pretty close, though. I'm pretty sure they're at that planet, which means we need to get a move on awful fast up here. Still, no reason to go crazy for the time being. Zudak got that population infusion, so now it at least is at 5 pop. This is still super, super early in the game. It is only 2306, very, very early. All right, so we've got at least a little time. The humans will retreat this colony ship, and they'll head back to presumably their capital, which is up there. For right now, all I can do is just keep building factories. Not much more to do early on. All right. And Crystalline, let's see, factories 63. I'm going to send 1 more infusion of 3 pop, and then that'll be it to Zudak. Zudak will just have to fare for itself after that, because I do need to build up the capital, or not the capital, I'm thinking in Civ terms, the home world. After this, I'm going to need to just let it grow for the time being. All right, 2 turns away, not much more to do this turn. Zudak is finally getting some population growth. Racing, the starting date is 2300. Kind of the weird parts about this game. And every turn, it ticks up by 1. So you start in 2300, it goes up by 1 each turn. So this is turn 7, basically. Very early in the game. All right, next turn. We found this is also quite a good planet. Ocean 75 is pretty good as well. And oh, we found an artifacts planet. That means we get a free tech. This is good stuff. Okay, so artifacts planets, you get bonus research. Now, it's a little unlucky it's only size 25. That's very small, but hey, an artifacts planet is an artifacts planet, so I get a free tech right here. Good stuff. Let's see what I got. Well, okay, the way it processes, we'll see it in a second. Alright, more small planets in the back. We'll be able to get these later. These are not threatened planets. These should be pretty safe for a while. Another artifacts planet, and it's 95. Wow, this is a really nice map. I kind of wish I wasn't the Silicoids, because almost all these planets are, they're not hostile. Alright, we got, oh, improved industrial 8. That's quite nice. Cheaper factories. Now, little thing there, I actually lost a free tech, because if you pop 2 artifacts planets on the same turn, you only get 1 free tech, just due to the way the game's coded. I was supposed to get 2 free techs, I only got 1. But I'm hardly complaining. This is a really nice map. Yeah, so... yeah, we've got an ultra-rich and 2 artifacts planets in the back lines. This is a really friendly map. I've seen much worse maps than this. The only real danger is dealing with the humans up here. So... you know, we just need to get a Sketa. I'd even be willing to concede Proteus if I can land FICO, the Baron Ultra Rich. Alrighty. Interesting, interesting stuff. We've still got some more scout reports to come in as well. Alright, I do need a couple more scouts, just so I can put one over... no, I should keep building factories until I'm at the cap. Elite Doofus, I am actually working on doing a write-up for Civ 5. On Brave New World. It should be on the website relatively soon. It depends on how long it takes me to write it up, but I am working on it. Anyway, so it's a good question. Here on Chryslan, we're going to hit the we're actually going to have more factories than our population can work very soon. But I can do one more turn of factories, and then I'll look into... I might even build a super early colony ship here, which is very rare for me, but I might end up doing that here. Alright, also, so here, the scout's about to reach this planet, so I'll send on this other scout. I'm pretty sure this is the human homeworld, but we'll find out right here. We'll see. And I'm also going to get a scout report on that planet. How's Zudak doing? It's size 10. It got another 3, that last population convoy of 3 hit last turn, so, and it grew 1 pop. But it's up to the point where it can build half a factory per turn. I've never hated Civ 5. People have misrepresented that. I've never hated the game. I just think that it's sort of an average game, and that's what I'm planning. That's what I'll be writing about in more detail. But it's, you know, it's an average game. The problem is it's not as good as Civ 4, unfortunately. It's a flawed game. It's okay. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's somewhere in between. It's a flawed game, as I said. All right. Oh, okay. So we found Orion. This is okay. So a little thing about Master of Orion. The game's called Master of Orion. Out of all the planets in this game, there's one called, on every map, one of the planets is called Orion. This is protected by something called the Guardian, which is a super strong ship. It's really, really strong, and if you can kill the Guardian, you can colonize Orion. I've actually never killed the Guardian in any of my games because I always forget about it by the end of the game when you're actually strong enough to kill the Guardian. Anyway, what this means is we can't colonize this planet. The Guardian will kill anything that goes here, and this scout is dead. The Guardian has 10,000 HP. Yes, that's not a misprint. That's 10,000. Our scout has 3. Our scout also has no weapons. So this bye-bye scout. Yeah, so that's Orion. You just got to keep that in mind. So we lost a scout there. That's not that big a deal. Bye-bye scout. Okay, so Chryslan is now reading max right here. What that means is more factories than the pop can work, or it will at the end of this turn. I'm still going to build factories for another turn. Right now there's 44 pop that can work 88 factories, but you'll notice that the factories will outstrip the population pretty fast. And that's very standard for the Silicoid. The Silicoid have such slow population growth, factories will outstrip population in the worst way. The absolute worst way. So you have to do a lot of population management with the Silicoids. I'm going to build another turn of factories though, because Chryslan will grow either 1 or 2 pop, and that'll mean I'll need about a little over 90 factories. So we'll build another turn of factories, then figure out what we want to do after that. Alright, we found another habitable planet here at Lan. And there's another, we're able to see a human ship up here. If I can click on it. We're close enough that we're able to see that. Wow, they're occupying the exact same tiles. I'd love to be able to see what's on that, but I don't think I can. Oh well. So we've got a nice background, nice neighborhood of planets we can colonize. I actually might end up building a colony ship here. How long will that take? Yeah, so I have 45 pop and 96 factories, more factories than the pop can use. How long would it take to build a colony ship right now? 6 years. Okay, I'm going to build the colony ship. Again, it's kind of a rare step, but something I would do only with the Silicoids here, just because I want to get a move on FICO. This is too important of a planet. I can't afford to let that planet go to waste. Have to try to grab that. So while Crystalline slowly tries to grow pop, there's no point in building more factories. It already has more factories than the population can support. So I'll go ahead and look to build this colony ship. The alternative would be build some warships to try and chase off the humans up there. But I think I'd do better just to stake my claim here. As I said, I'm willing to let the humans have this planet. I'll try to stop them, but I'm willing to let them have this one in exchange for getting FICO. The one problem is if they claim Proteus, they'll have the range to reach back here, and that will be a little annoying. But that ultra-rich is just too important of a planet. I have to go after that ASAP. Why don't I try the more recent space games? I'm familiar with Galactic Civ 2. I'm less familiar with Endless Space. Galactic Civ 2 is a lot like Civ 3, which is one of the reasons why I wasn't that interested in it. How good would the planet be if you could kill the Guardian of Orion? Orion is the best planet in the game. It's always size 100. And, hold on, does it say right here? Orion gives a 4 times bonus to tech. It's always size 100. It gives 4 times bonus to tech. And, what's the other thing? Oh, and you always discover a couple free techs. It's the best planet on the map. It's just it's hard to kill the Guardian. I don't have a lot of experience with how much you need to kill the Guardian. The AI always ignores Orion. The AI will never go after Orion, so I just tend to ignore it for the most part. As far as Endless Space, I'm just not familiar with that game. Alright, so this is indeed the human capital. Oh my god, did I actually manage to scout a homeworld? I have never scouted an AI homeworld. Have I? I think I might have done it once. Watch, we can click on the planet. Sol is population 41 and 111 factories. Wow, I actually managed to scout an AI homeworld on Impossible. That's so rare. That's incredibly rare to get a scout on their homeworld on Impossible. They've usually built so many factories and missile bases by the time you get there. Wow, okay. Well, that's actually useful because I'll be able to keep track of how many bases they have with scanners later on in the game. Now, I don't want to keep my ship over their homeworld because that'll annoy them. But getting that scout is quite useful. That's pretty useful. Alright. Oh, and actually the colony ship dropped... it's actually only going to be 5 turns here. The problem is I'm not going to have enough population for these planets, but we can deal with that later. We'll always be able to grow population using the ecology slider. Zudak is just getting started. 16 pop, 2 factories. We're building factories there. Slow rate, but it's still early in the game. Alright, looks good. I don't think the humans have built any warships yet. Alright, so I think this is just a scout. Yeah, it's a colony ship and a scout. So I can chase them off again. They'll have to retreat back to their homeworld. But I am going to need some ships up there soon. So after this colony ship, I might want to build some laser fighters to go up there and chase them off. Well, I don't have to make a decision yet. I'm putting production into the colony ship. I'd love to keep the humans off here, but it's awful tough to fight early in the game on Impossible. Awful tough. Note that Crystalline has still been growing pop. Now it's 49 pop, 96 factories, so they've actually grown enough that they're working all the factories from before. One interesting thing about this game is, watch, I can go in here, I can design a laser fighter, which is the first ship you'd use. Name that laser. So this is a very basic ship. You always start with the ability to put lasers on a ship. So laser, just basic weapon, laser fighter. Always costs 14 BC at the start of the game. So if I wanted to, instead of building a colony ship, I could build 25 lasers and send them up there to fight. I'm just not sure how effective that would be. Oh, I could also build 44 Scout 2s if I really wanted to. No, I still think the colony ship is the better choice. This is where you start getting into strategy. It's like, do I want to build a colony ship and try to claim one of these planets, or do I want to build laser fighters to try and chase away the humans? Because as soon as they build a ship that has a weapon on it, they're going to be able to come down here and claim this. I'm just not sure I can keep... I just don't think I can keep them from claiming this world. It's only 3 parsecs from their home planet, and that's really tough. If I were playing as the Mercians, I might try it, because the kitties get a big bonus to combat in the early game, but it's the Silicoids are not really equipped to fight early in the game. That's not their specialty. So I think I'll do better just to try and claim this planet and delay as long as possible here, but let the humans have this planet if they really want it. I don't know, that's what I'm thinking. Might not work out, but that's sort of my goal right now. Anyway, so we'll keep building the colony ship. Zudek's coming along, 18 pop now. Always takes a while for these planets to get started. Crystallon's up to 50 pop. We'll go back to building some factories after this. And what are we doing? Grew some more, grew plus 1 pop. I'll build up some factories and then start growing pop after this. And next turn. Yes, I do plan to put this on YouTube as well. That's the goal. Alright, so we finish a colony ship. Note that immediately our ship costs go way up. That colony ship eats up 8% of our income. Alrighty, so colony, you go up here, and as I've said, I really want that ultra-rich planet. You can't afford to give away a size 80 ultra-rich. That's way too good. Alright, oh, so I actually got some overflow. Now, here's a little interesting thing. I actually got overflow production from that colony. If you overflow in production, you can... Oh, wait, no. How much did I get? I got a little overflow of production. I could build 2 lasers if I wanted to. That's not that useful. Or I could build 4 Scout 2s. So even though I have nothing going into ships right now, I can build some Scout 2s. And I'm going to do that because I do need some more Scouts. I'm going to need to move some of my Scouts forward. Let's see. Let's move this Scout ship forward over here. Because as soon as I colonize this ship, I'll have the range to go and reach some of these planets over here. So I'm going to need some more Scouts to go and, well, scout them. Hello, Mayuna Kayuki. That's a tough name to say. Good to have you guys here. So anyway, yes, Crystallon's going to go back to building some more factories, and then I will take the unusual step of building factories alongside spending in ecology, because what I want to do, I want to get this planet to 200 factories, 100 pop, very ASAP. You really want to max out planets as soon as possible, because you're really wasting, whenever they're not at max pop and not max factories, you're kind of wasting potential production. So I rushed out the early colony ship because I thought it was important to get up to this spot, because this is a crucially important spot. Look where it is on the map. It's right in the corner of my territory. Like, if I can claim this, I can kind of seal off the planets behind it, but really important place to claim. So I rushed out the colony ship, but now I'm going to go back and push economy after this. I had a good trip race, and I might try to show some of the pictures. People have requested that in the past. People have enjoyed seeing some of the pictures, so I might try to do that again. Alright, we need 1 scout to go to Zudek. And let's see, I've got 2 free scouts now. I'm going to send one of them over here, and another one up here. And yes, it can be tough keeping track of where all your scouts are. You can check them out here on the fleet tab. It will show you where all of your ships are, but yes, it can be hard to keep all those little scouts, keep track of all of them. And yes, note that I do have a ship over every planet. The AI is less likely to go after your planet over a planet if you have a scout floating in range above them. This is probably the next planet to go after this one, just because it's potentially vulnerable to an AI coming in here from the west side. These planets in the backlines, yes, I know these are artifacts and they're good planets, but they're pretty safe. What's the environment? These 2 are probably the next 2 I have to claim. I'm assuming that the humans will get this. If they're not there in like 10 turns, I'll go for that planet too. But I'm assuming that the humans will come with a fleet and head after Proteus relatively soon. Zudek's coming along, 22 pop, 11 factories. I'll have Zudek send some population to FICO. By the way, if I haven't explained this, what ultra-rich does, ultra-rich planets get 3 times production on industry or on shipbuilding. So they make for tremendous shipbuilding planets, build huge fleets on them. They also get, you can stand them up super fast because they will build factories at a fantastic rate. You just have to supply them with population from other planets. So artifacts planets are great for researching, and what was I going to say? Oh, the rich and ultra-rich planets are great for shipbuilding. Now there are also, we haven't seen any yet, but there are also poor planets and ultra-poor, and they only get 1/2 and 1/3 production. Ultra-poor planets really stink. It takes so long to build factories on ultra-poor planets. They're probably best used as just population sinks. You just grow population and send them to other planets. What really sucks is when you start the game and you have only 1 planet in range to colonize, and it's a poor or an ultra-poor planet. That's really frustrating. I've had that happen before. It makes the game a lot more challenging. Alright, anyway, so how much... I'm going to try to grow some pop here. Now, with most races, I would not do this, but the Silicoids are not most races. I need to spend ecology... Ordinarily, in the early game, you do not want to spend on ecology. It's very wasteful. But for the Silicoids, I need to grow pop. I already have 55 pop, 110 factories, so building more factories is not really going to help this planet if there's no population to work those factories. So I will spend on ecology here to grow some more pop, because I want to get this to 100 pop, 200 factories ASAP. When do I plan to start research? Well, normally I start research when I have to go and colonize planets. But for right now, I don't need more range to colonize planets. I can colonize a ton of planets that are only 3 parsecs away. So I'm not going to start researching for a bit. Not while I can colonize these planets nearby. I will have to do it at some point, but I'd rather spend my limited early game production on building colony ships and spreading out. Typically, I will do research when I need range, and I don't need it yet. Also for the Silicoids, again are not like other races. They have a very unique tech tree because there's so many techs missing from their tree. I'm guaranteed to have, here in the tech field, I'm guaranteed to have plus 10 terraforming at the first level of planetology, and that's good. Plus 10 terraforming is a great tech. But it's not going to help me unless I'm already at 100 pop. You know, going to 110 pop won't do anything when I'm already so low on pop. So I can actually go for a while without starting research, just due to the unique nature of the Silicoids. Alright, so I grew 3 pop that turn, 2 pop due to ecology spending. So now I'm at 58 pop, 117 factories. That's good. That's right about where I want. Factories and pop are growing up alongside one another, so that's about right. I'm going to keep spending enough to get plus 2 pop each turn here. And I'm pretty happy with that. Anyway, the colony ship's on its way, 3 turns ETA. Zudak is finally getting some factories going. 14 now, still a ways away, but it's starting to stack them up at a better rate. And yeah, it looks pretty good right now. So we're trying to, basically right now is we're trying to max crystalline. It's 2317. Wow, that's, yeah, we're off to a really fast start. That the one tech I popped, Improved Industrial 8, which is a construction tech, that really helped. That cut my factory cost by 20%. Ordinarily, it costs 10 BC to build a factory. You can get techs that make that cheaper. So right now, they only cost 8 BC. That was a really nice tech to get. Very, very helpful tech. And of course, having construction tech also makes, also gives you more space on your ship. So I can squeeze more stuff onto ships right now. Like how much can I fit on a? How much can I? 45 space on a small. Okay, yeah. One of the things that construction tech does is you can fit more stuff on your ship hulls as you get more construction tech. We're not really into getting into shipbuilding yet, but you will see the effects of that later. Okay, and yeah, still 3 turns. All right, next turn. All right, the humans are back, and the humans, as expected, have brought they've brought ships that actually have weapons on them. So not surprisingly, they're going to claim this planet. It's just too close. Now, if I had really built a lot of lasers, maybe I could have fought them for this planet, but I don't think it was that. I don't think it was worthwhile to do that. Now, they might have missiles on this ship. They probably have lasers, but they might have missiles. This is a yeah. They have 4 mediums. I only have 1 small. Do they have missiles on this ship? Maybe. Yes, they do have missiles. Okay, so there's a chance. All right, no. There was a chance that all their missiles could miss. Early in the game, missiles have a high chance of missing. There was a small chance their missiles could have ended up misfiring and not hitting me. Anyway, we found the humans. The good news is the humans tend to be fairly peaceful, and it's relatively easy to have good relations with the humans. You'll note that relations start at relaxed. Normally they start at neutral, but because the humans are good neighbors, and we've got an honorable human, so that's good too. Honorable personality means that they are very unlikely to backstab you, but if you backstab them, they hate you for it. Militarist is a little bit not quite what I would have wanted. Militarist means they build more ships, but honorable is a good personality. Honorable is the default personality for humans. So let's go ahead and talk to them and strike up a trade agreement. That'll improve relations further. Early in the game, sort of grand strategy, early in the game, you don't want to fight the AI. The AI is very strong early in the game on Impossible. The longer you can hold off fighting, the better you do in Master of Orion. So I just want peace early in the game. I do not want to fight. That's why I deliberately was not picking a fight over that planet. It's like, I'll give them that planet and I'll claim the others around them. and that's fine with me. I've got a great starting location here. All right, anyway, so we're going to form a trade agreement. This is minimal trade because they only have one planet, but we'll accept that. Trade improves relationships over time. The interesting thing about trade agreements is they start at a net loss, and then over time they eventually become profitable. So see, we agreed to trade 25 BC per year. That's a very small trade agreement, but it will improve relations over time. All right, now in the short term, though, that's actually a net negative. See, I actually lose 7 BC a turn from that trade income, but it'll increase eventually. It'll increase over time. The main reason I did that, though, is to try and build relations. So the humans did claim this, and now we can see they've also claimed that planet there. Hopefully they'll try to expand up in that direction. I don't know how much range tech they have thus far. They may or may not have the range to reach these planets. But because these are not, I need to get to these, I probably need to get to these planets next because the humans might go after them. Anyway, but I'm glad I am heading for, glad I already have a colony ship en route to FICO. Glad that I do have the ship en route there already. Okay, anyway, so Chrysalon still building up. This is still super early in the game. Normally you would not have a colony ship out this early. This is actually a really good start. Largely due to popping that artifacts tech and having a strong second planet. So I'm at 61 pop, 124 factories, and see, factories are still outstripping the speed at which my population's growing. Even with this ecology spending, I'm still only growing, like I grew 2 pop from ecology spending and then 1 from natural growth. That's pretty slow. But the good news is production is still going up. I'm now at 154. Zudak is, what, at 29? Is Bitcoin? Yes, it's Bitcoins. 25 Bitcoins. The BC actually stands for billion credits. That's where it comes from, billion credits. But yeah, Bitcoins. Bitcoins are the currency of the future. Yes, indeed. Alrighty, so not much to do. This early in the game, I just need to build up my planets and hope that the humans don't get too aggressive. Alright, how much pop did I grow? Still not growing much in the way of pop. The Silicoids grow pop so slowly. See, even though I'm not spending much on factory construction, the factories are still outstripping growth here. Let's see. Well, they're going up at about the same rate. If I could just get a little bit more in the way of population growth here at Chrysalon. Anyway, though, still standing up that world. Zudak's coming along, well, not fast, but as fast as a Silicoid colony ever comes along. And our colony ship's going to arrive next turn, which is good. And yeah, so normally I would need to research more range to get to Lan, but if I colonize Rigel, I'll have enough range to reach that planet. Alrighty, next turn. And yes, we want to build a planet. By the way, if you say no, you have to wait until the next turn to colonize. So we landed here at 2319. That's quite early. To have a colony ship out that early is pretty good. Alright, so the humans, yeah, they've got more of that ship coming in. They're sending some population in, but they don't look too threatening just yet. Anyway, what this does is it extends range, so now we can reach some planets over here. That's only 4, that's 5, that's 7, so we've got some scouts over here. Scout 1, and I've got another scout coming in. Okay, so both of these can move forward. Let's send the scout up here. 1, 2. Can I reach that planet? No, but I can't reach that one either. I thought that one might be in range. That's why I have 2 scouts here. All right, but we're still able to get a scout up to each one of those worlds, so that's some good stuff. No, factory production of silicoids is not affected. It is just their population growth. They grow population at an incredibly slow rate. I'm actually building factories faster than you normally would build factories, and that's due to the fact that I got that free tech, that I got improved industrial 8. So factory construction is actually going faster than it normally would. One of the things that balances out the silicoid's slow growth is the fact that they can spend all of their income on anything at the start of the game. Normally, most races have to spend about 1/3 of their income on waste cleanup. Let me show you what that would look like. That would look about like this. So I'd be losing, you know, a good 1/3 to even 40% of my income on waste cleanup, but the silicoids, they don't care about that. This planet's totally polluted with toxic waste, but they just ignore it. They don't care about pollution. So that's one of their big advantages. I can spend 100% of my income on anything I want right now. Anyway, so I'm still trying to build up this planet. Let's see. All right, let's do this. We're going to do a turn of factory construction, and then I will go ahead and build another colony ship, because I'm getting a little bit worried that the humans might go after Rigel and Lan, and I would like to claim those planets. And I believe I can build 4-turn colony ships is usually what a maxed out planet can do. But the Silicoids can do that even without a maxed out planet, due to the fact that they don't have to spend on waste cleanup. Anyway, up here, FICO. So FICO is ultra rich, population 80. We're going to need to send some pop up there. Now, sadly, Zudak is really the only source for that, and Zudak itself does not have a lot of pop to spare, but it's worth it to get an ultra rich planet going. So we're going to have to send some pop up there. Let's send a couple million up there, and I'll send a few more over the next few turns. Just takes forever to start a Silicoid colony if you don't send any population. So we'll send some pop over there. One nice thing is I can see whatever ships the Silicoids have over these other worlds, which is kind of nice. So if they start bringing in a colony ship, I'll be able to see it coming in, which is nice. All right, +2 growth, very nice. I'll try to keep Zudak around, what, 25 pop or so. Let's send 3 million more. That is an ultra-rich planet after all. And Chrysalon now has more factories than it can use, so it'll grow onto those factories. Let's build the colony ship and start sending it over here to Rigel. Again, as I've said, the factories outstrip your population in the worst way with the Silicoids. It's actually the exact opposite with the Sakra. With the Sakra, you have so much population, you don't even know what to do with it. One of the reasons why the Silicoids tend to be a very high skill cap race in this game, they are hard to play because you really have to manage population. But if you can do that, they're quite strong. All right, what's incoming here? Oh no, they actually, all right, I don't know what the humans are doing. They just left Proteus behind. They are apparently not sending any ships down in my direction right now, which is good. I'd love to have good relations. The humans can make a very good ally. The one problem is you have to make sure they don't win the council vote outright, because their diplomacy is so good, everybody tends to like the humans. Zudak actually grew 2 pop last turn. I'll send another 3 million pop next turn out of Zudak. Chrysalon only grew 1 pop, so it's getting there, but gonna take a while to max that. Growth is so slow. We just found the Mercians. Interesting. Where did Kitty pop up? Oh, okay, they're over here. So Kitty has this part of the galaxy, 5 planets. Let's see what the Mercians have. Aggressive militarist. Well, they didn't draw the ruthless personality, which is good because they typically roll the ruthless personality, and that tends to make them really, really stupid. Humans are not at war. You can actually always see when the AI is at war with one another. Alright, so we found Kitty, and she's up here. And apparently we're about to scout out one of her planets. She must have just colonized Guyana, and she must have one of the improved range techs. So I'm really glad I went for FICO immediately. Like, that's why I went for this planet. This is a crucially important planet. This is the planet where I will stack up the defensive bases and make my point world. Very, very important. Now I have to make sure the humans don't cut me off here, and then try to expand off to the west. We'll see. How many planets do I have a good chance of getting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 at the very least. Alright, that's enough to be competitive, especially with an ultra-rich and 2 artifacts. Anyway, let's dial up Kitty and sign a minimal trade agreement, just for trying to improve relations. And I can trade more with them because their economy is a little stronger. No reason to be in bad shape with them. So the trade is -20 BC. As I said, you always lose right when you start a trade agreement, and it improves over time. Alright, so FICO got its first population shipment. Zudak, you're going to supply more pop to FICO. So FICO is, frankly, a more important planet. And I am taking a risk because none of these planets are guarded right now. There's no weapons on any of these. Oh, I counted the human planet and there's 9? Okay, well, 8 then. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9. Yeah, it's 9 if I were able to land all these. It's 9. 8 is not as good as 9, but fortunately these are pretty high quality planets. You have to lose Bitcoin to make Bitcoin. Yeah, I will have to start building some ships eventually, but I'm hoping that the humans, due to our good relationship, will not come scouting after me, at least not right away. We shall see. Alright, so we found the Mercians. They've got a colony. Alright, so I'm actually going to get a scout on this world, which, as I expected, they just founded this planet. Now here's the sad thing. If I had gotten to this planet one turn sooner, I could have stopped them from putting a colony down on it, and that would have been a pretty big plus. Someone's got 6 planets. Oh, Kitty! Kitty gets the first GNN message. That's very rare. Very rare. Normally the Mercians are the weakest power in the galaxy, but not so far today. Not so far. If I'd gotten here one turn sooner, I could have delayed them from colonizing that. So that's a bit of a shame. Ah, well. Just dumb luck. I sent the ship as soon as I had the range, but yeah. So Zudak now actually also has as many factories as the planet can, as the population can work, but I'll do another turn of building factories there. And let's see, I've got, yeah, more stuff coming here. FICO, yeah, FICO is going to overbuild population as well. It's really funny how this works. Yeah, so you have to do a lot of ecology spending with the Silicoids. A lot. Alright, next turn. Alright, we scouted another... They didn't have any defenses at that planet either. Wow. Unusual. The Mercians... So at least I'll be able to keep track of what's going on at these planets later. Here comes the humans with a couple scouts. They look like they're headed to Spica as well. Alright, so at least I was able to see these planets. Just a shame I didn't get to Guyana one turn sooner. But I certainly can't complain with how things are going. Anyway, Chrysalon has finished a colony ship. I'm going to send that over there. And yeah, what Chrysalon really needs right now is more pop. Let's spend on some on factories, I think, but I'm going to need more population. So I can work right now, what, 150 factories? So I mostly need more population here. That'll work. Again, trying to max out this planet. And Zudak's in the same situation. Like, I can keep building more factories, but it's not really going to help that much because I have, I need more people. I'll build another turn of factories then and start growing them. Start growing pop there. I mean, it's only at 24 out of 115. It's quite low. By the way, you really have to watch what the AI is doing on that fleet movement screen. That's the only time you get a chance to see what direction their ships are moving in. So, like, this human fleet is clearly going to Spica right now. Alright, FICO is already building factories at a disgusting rate. And I think it's... don't think I have to send any more pop, because Zudak has its own problems with population. Apparently I forgot this... No, I did... Wait, where did that colony ship go? Where did I send my colony ship? Is it on its way? Okay, it's on its way, we just can't see it, apparently. It is, in fact, already headed to this city, to this planet. Alright, 78, 168. Yeah, let's keep growing pop and building factories there. I don't need too much more pop here. Almost maxed out on population. Zudak, though, Zudak needs more population. 26 pop, 57 factories. I'll do a turn of ecology spending here. Get 2 pop there. Ahoy, Anton. Good to have you here. So, again, one of the differences between this Silicoids and other races is you need to spend a lot on ecology when you're playing as them. Alright. And that is very different from the other races. You will not do nearly so much ecology spending with the other races. Like, last turn, I grew 3 people from ecology spending, and that's all that I grew. Didn't grow anything at all from normal growth. Alrighty, so we're headed there. The humans, I'd be able to see if they had any ships here, so they don't look like they're making a play for Lon. I don't even know if Lon is in range for them, but it's better not to take chances. I do want to get another colony ship out of Chrysalon soon. As soon as I colonize Rigel, I will build it and send it over to Lon. Just because I'm a little bit worried about that spot. Okay, wow, we grew 5 pop that turn. That was quite nice. Almost enough to work all those factories. 86 can work, what? 170. Alright, let's go back and let's pump out another colony ship to get over to this spot. And we'll go from there. Alright, Zudak now needs some more people, I think. Yeah, I'll do a turn of ecology spending here. No, go right ahead. And again, guys, feel free to ask questions in the chat or whatever. I'm happy to answer questions. Alright, yes, we want to colonize the Artifacts world. This is a small planet, but it is an Artifacts planet, which means that it will be quite good at doing research. And now watch, I can do this. I can relocate here to Rigel, And what that means is any ship that's built at Crystalline will automatically be routed to Rigel. So it'll save a turn on this colony ship when it comes out. When should you start spying to see what techs the other races have? Well, some people would do it immediately. I don't like to do it right at the start of the game because it does cost money. Note how, and spying is expensive, so note how expensive it is. 9 years just to get a spy in there. So I like to wait until my overall economy is a little stronger. At the beginning of the game, it's just expensive at the start of the game to do spying, so I won't spy until maybe around the time of the first council vote, roughly speaking, which is usually about 60 to 70 turns into the game. So maybe around that time. We're actually only 29 turns into the game. As far as, yeah, note the fleet strength. I have no fleet strength. That's very common for me on Impossible at the beginning of the game. I actually have more tech than the humans and the Mershens. Amazingly, just that one free tech is enough to keep me ahead of them. And planets, I'm competitive on planets. I'm actually competitive on production, which is surprising for this early in the game, and even reasonably competitive on total power, which is really good for 30 turns into the game. Hey, Dog, Cat, Frog, Spider. That's quite a nice name there, too. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how things are going here. All right, 32. Time to go back to building some more factories. It says max, but we can use them. Wow, look at this. 10 factories already. These ultra-rich planets are ridiculous. And then I'll have to go back to spending on pop. Alrighty. 34, and that looks fine for right now. Yeah, FICO has more factories than the population can work. Well, no, actually it's not. It needs another turn of factories. Alright, so we built the colony ship, and that colony ship is already en route to Rigel. Now, the one thing about relocating like that is you can save a turn, but you got to remember that you issued an order like that. So when this gets to Rigel, I have to remember to send it on to Lon. So hopefully I'll remember to do that. Anyway, population 88, factories 183. So I need 17 more factories and 12 more pop. Let's see what we can do about that, shall we? Okay, 3 more pop, and I'll put the rest into industry. And that's looking pretty good. I will send pop. That's a good question. Am I going to send pop to that artifact world? I will. I'm going to max out Crystalline first, and then I'll send some pop after that. Good question, but I will be doing that in a minute or two. Because it's a small planet, it's a lower priority, but I can get maybe 10 people over there pretty easily once Crystalline is maxed out. All right, FICO has now maxed factories and beyond maxed factories, so I'm going to need to... Actually, I mostly need to grow pop here. I don't even need to spend that much on industry. Just make sure it's growing 1 pop every turn. And that should be enough to do that. Here, I already have more factories than the planet can work, so we'll do some more ecology spending for a turn or two. Alright. So we're at 92 pop, and I only need 4 more factories. Okay, so here's a little thing where you can, if you really want to micromanage, now I will do this in the early game. I'll do this in the early game. I won't do this the rest of the game. If you really want to micromanage, you can do stuff like this. Like you can see, I need 4 more factories to finish up with how many factories this planet needs. How much does it cost to build factories? Well, I've improved Industrial 8, so factories cost 8 BC each. So if I measure out 32 BC, right there, that's 34 RP or 34 BC. That will max out factories, and I can put the rest into ecology spending, which will get me close to maxing out this planet. No, can feel free to ask questions. I don't mind. There's plenty of time here, so we can ask about whatever. And I'll get some more factories up here. Pretty soon I'll have to start building defensive bases, but it's early enough in the game I think I can get by without them for now. And that looks pretty good there. I'm reasonably happy with that. I still haven't spent anything on tech, but I'm going to soonish. Probably once Sudak starts to get maxed out, I'll have it start spending on tech. Alright, so if I've done this right, Crystalline will be maxed on factories, and indeed it is maxed on factories. It hit 200 factories. Alrighty, so now I need to grow 3 more people, and it'll be at max population. So 3 more people. And actually, let's send some population to Rigel, shall we? Technically I can send up to 48 million, but note that it'll only can't even carry that many. No, this is a size 25 planet. We don't want to send quite that many. 8 would be a good number, because that'll get it to 10. Yeah, start at 8 million. and that'll get that planet off to a good start. There we go. Okay, so yes, now I need to move this colony ship over, and that'll be good. I'll cancel that relocate order. I kept that on just so I would remember to send on the colony ship. And Chrysalon, we will regrow pop this turn and then build a colony ship for Kulthos. And that means oh wait, no, I can't colonize there because it's 4 parsecs. Okay, I can't reach that planet. Can I reach any of these planets? Okay, no, they're all 4 parsecs, so I can't reach any of those planets. So what this means is I need to open up research, and I need some more range tech. So I will need to do that next, because I don't have enough range to colonize any of those planets. But those range techs will be quite cheap. I'll be able to get them shortly. What provokes the AI to go to war? Usually when they just want more planets. That's the biggest thing in this game. So in the early game, they're all trying to spread out as much as possible. You'll see some border skirmishes over planets that like different groups are trying to control. But the big thing is like they're out of territory to expand, so they start looking for more planets to grab. That's probably the biggest thing. All right, this planet is pop 25. It has 66 factors. I need to increase ecology spending. Actually need to grow pop for a couple turns. Again, you would not do that normally with anyone other than Silicoids, but with Silicoids, yeah, you kind of do want to do that. All right, I'll open research next turn. I do have to regrow some pop there. All right, so now I can open research with 242 RP. Okay, so time to talk about research. There are 6 fields of research. They're all important. I'll just talk briefly about what they do. Computers is the one that's most involved with spying. It also adds things like battle computers and gives you the chance to add improved scanners. It also has something called robotic controls, which means you can add more factories. Right now, I can only have 2 factories for each person. With more upgrades there, you can actually have up to 7 factories for each person. More production, so important field. Construction involves things like factory construction, waste cleanup, ground bonuses, how much space there is on your ships, also armor for your missile bases, another important field. Force fields is shields. There's not very many techs in the force field tree, but shields are very important in this game. Planetary shields, shields for your ships, shields for your ground troops, another important field. Planetology is sort of like an economic field. It adds terraforming, so you can make your planet stronger. It also has the controlled environment techs, which the Silicoids don't need. And it also has the waste cleanup techs, which the Silicoids also don't need. So planetology, a little bit less important for the Silicoids, but still really useful. Propulsion is engines. Ship range, ship speed, faster engines, some other interesting stuff. At the beginning of the game, your ships are very slow, but you need to fix that. You also have limited range. Weapons are weapons. You start with nuclear missiles, nuclear bombs, and lasers. All of these weapons stink. You don't want to use any of these, so weapons is weapons. Usually, at the start of the game, you don't necessarily want to be investing in all of these research fields at once because you can avoid investing in them. So like construction, I don't really need that. I already got a useful construction update. I am going to start right now by putting my research into the 2 fields that I need, which is planetology. I'll be able to get improved terraforming plus 10 and make use of that. It's guaranteed to be in my field. And propulsion. Those are the 2 ones I actually want right now. Ordinarily, I'd invest in construction as well, but I don't need construction because I popped a nice tech from construction already. So I'm just going to split it 2 to 1 in favor of propulsion, and we'll see what tech choices we get from there. Alrighty, what do we have here? 148 pop, 115 factories. That's pretty good. Let's split that like so. And up here, that's pretty good too, but we'll put a little bit of spending into industry. Rigel has a huge surge of transports incoming. And yeah, that should be pretty good. So let's see what we get in terms of tech choices here. Alright, so we have no choice in planetology, as expected, just plus 10. That allows you to increase the population capacity of your planets by 10 million. So instead of pop max 110, instead of population max 100, Chrysalon can go to 110, which means, of course, more production available. Terraforming is always a good thing to have. And I have no choice on propulsion range 4, and you normally have a choice between range 4 and range 5, but range 5 is the only one available. Master of Orion's interesting in that you do not always have all the techs available. Sometimes techs are there, sometimes techs are not. And there's no range 4, which is a bit of a sad thing because I would have gone for range 4 if it was available. I actually don't need range 5 tech here. I only need range 4, but it's not in the tree, so we'll just have to make do. And we'll just fire up the research bulbs, and hopefully we'll knock that out pretty fast. With 242 RP coming in from Crystalline, that should be able to land that pretty quickly. So not too worried about that. And in the meantime, I'm just building up these other planets. I will have to get some defensive bases up soon as well. But my defensive bases wouldn't even be that good right now, unfortunately. Let's also shift a scout or two down here. Yeah, I'll shift my scout 2s down there from FICO, just in preparation for landing that range tech. Earlier, yeah, well, everybody's at different time zones. These planets, yeah, so Zudek is coming along pretty nicely. How long would it take, just out of curiosity, how long would it take to build a okay, I can build a defensive base fast here. That's good. I can build a defensive base very quickly. That's a good sign. Now that defensive base wouldn't be too good because I don't have improved shielding for it. I would need to research that level 2 shielding tech for it to do very much. But that's a good sign. I can start to get some defensive bases there soon. Alright, and we're going to get another colony ship down in a second. Alright, so next turn. Build a new colony, yes. Build a new colony at Lon. I will want to send some people over there. I will send some people there once. I kind of want to focus on research right now. This is... I really should send some people over there, though. Otherwise, because it just takes so long for these Silicoid colonies to get going. Alright, so let's spend 100 research. Well, let me see how much I can send in a turn. 4, no. We'll send 3 for a couple turns of 3. Alright. We'll send a couple. We'll send some pop over there while we're researching this. How much bitcoins does each colony cost for ecology spedging? It depends on how much tech you have in the race. It costs more to grow the Silicoid colonists because their growth rate is so slow. I think that it's normally 20 BC per colonist, but I think it's 40 BC for the Silicoids. I'm not 100% sure on that. That can be affected by tech later in the game, too. Don't quote me on that. I think it's 20 BC normally, which is a very high rate, of course. Alright, factories. Yeah, I'm still stacking. Alright, this looks good for right now. Still stacking up factories and population together at those planets. Alright, next turn. Yeah, see, Crystalline did not grow back as much pop as I would have liked. Alright, so a little thing here. Note that the light bulbs will light up over time. This means that planetology is in the percentages. That means it's about ready to pop. There's a bug on this screen, though. The actual chance to discover is twice what it shows on this screen. We don't know why that is. It's just a bug in the game. So I actually have 22% odds to discover improved terraforming plus 10. And the light bulb is about halfway full on propulsion. There's some weird stuff about the way that research works in this game, and I don't quite know the whole formula. But you basically get more beakers if you keep involved and keep investing steadily over time. All right. What is Crystalline actually at? It's at 99 pop. Okay. And I'll send one more group of 3 pop, 3 million over here, just to help this planet get started. So now we're at 44% odds on that world. Now keep in mind, I still am running a Farmer's Gambit here. I still don't have a single military ship whatsoever, which is something you typically do want to do early on in Master of Orion. I mean, there are some risks, but having the humans as a next-door neighbor actually is a help quite a bit. Can I name one colony Banana just for the lols of it? Sure, why not? One of the ones down here. We'll name Zangara, the artifacts planet down here. We'll name that one Banana. We should be able to get to that one without too much trouble. Anyway, so yeah, we're just researching and building up over time. You can actually play the turns quite quickly sometimes in Master of Orion, once everything's kind of automated and queued up. All right, so we will almost certainly discover improved plus 10 next turn, because we actually have a 78% chance to get it. Sometimes the techs pop right away, sometimes they take a while. It just depends. Bugs that are in favor of the player. Well, it's not actually a bug in terms of how the tech gets discovered. It's just a display bug, is the thing. It displays 1/2 of what the actual percentage is. So it's not a bug in the way you'd think that it is, if that makes sense. On this planet, pop-in factories are actually growing alongside one another at a pretty good rate. And yeah, FICO is coming along pretty decently as well. I mean, I have more factories than I can use, but that's to be expected on an ultra-rich world. All right, that's pretty good. And yeah.